One very important one was that Indonesia does not want anybody commenting on Papua. And for their understanding of the Uyghur issue, they see it as China's separatist issue. So for them to comment on Xinjiang and on human rights violations there would invite comments in return by the Chinese on Papua. So that was a major issue. Second issue was that many of the reports coming out about human rights violations in Xinjiang were coming out of the United States or Europe, and in particular by groups who were funded by the American government, in at least in one particular case. And the Indonesian Muslim organizations did not want to be sucked into what they saw as a propaganda war between the United States and China. So that was another reason. A third reason was that China went on a charm offensive of unimaginable proportions, inviting people from Nahdlatul Ulama and Muhammadiyah, the two large social organizations of Muslims in Indonesia, to Xinjiang to see for themselves that there was no persecution. And by and large, the Indonesian organizations saw what the Chinese wanted them to see. And of course, they were very carefully managed tours. In addition to that, the Chinese government made scholarships available for students from Nahdlatul Ulama and Muhammadiyah to study in China. And for the most part, these Indonesian students had relatively positive experiences and did not, they say, encounter any discrimination as Muslims while they were in China. So therefore, they were prepared to disbelieve the reports of human rights violations that came out. And then finally, there was a factor of the elections in 2019 in Indonesia, where the most strident voices urging Indonesia to speak out were coming from the hardline organizations associated with the Prabowo camp in the elections. And for that reason, many of the Muslim organizations, but also the Jokowi government in particular, did not want to get sucked into an issue that was already highly politicized. And they believed that to speak out would be either seen as capitulating to hardline pressure, or would simply be seen as taking the same side as their arch rival in the campaign, who is, of course, now part of the government. So I think there were